New Year. We're back with Charlie and Giorgia today, just talking about all the things you can do to get ready for a move this year. So, Charlie, where do you start if someone's thinking of moving this year?
So best place to start is going to be with evaluation. Get an evaluation on your own home so you know what equity is left in your home at the moment, and then starting to sort of pencil in where you might like to move, drive around the area, and start preparing yourself for that move next year. So starting to have a think about maybe schooling and how that's going to time in with children and all that sort of thing, really. But your first port of call is going to be getting that valuation from the agent first.
Angie, in terms of stuff mortgage-wise, where do you think people should start?
Well, we offer a cost of moving exercise, if you like, in our first appointment. So if you are thinking about moving, we'll go through things like stamp duty, solicitors, removal costs, all the hidden costs that you think that you might have to pay out. We'll go through and just make sure that you've got enough money to do that. We'll obviously go through what your affordability is as well, see how much you can borrow, what the monthly payments look like, interest rates.
And you hear lots about January being like a funny month for people because they've just had Christmas. So would you recommend that they start like now, actually like the process of putting their house on the market, or do you think there's a better time to do it?
It all depends more about their timescale. So again, I touched on obviously kids. If you've got kids that are going to be going up to maybe secondary school in September, you probably want to start thinking about making that move before they actually transition into that school. So it'll all depend on your own personal situation. Some people move for work, jobs, all of that will need to be factored in obviously at the same time. But it's worthwhile having the conversations with the brokers on the cost of moving side, start gathering solicitors' quotes and getting that valuation done sort of earlier on in the year. That then puts you in good stead for setting yourself up ready for the rest of the year. Really.
I think January is always busy anyway, because I think people spend a lot of time at home over Christmas and then they're
like, I've run out of room.
I need
too much plastic in my house. I need more space.
I need a bigger dining table to fit the family around. So
a lot of people have those conversations over Christmas, don't they? I think, and
I think it's that whole like New Year, new start thing where they're like, let's do it this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly, I think there's been a lot of people that perhaps have watched what's happened with the housing market this year, and they've been thinking about moving anyway the last 6 months, but haven't quite done that because of what's been going on in the market at the moment. So I think you'll have a lot of those people that now in the new year, as things have settled, start actually making those decisions.
Yeah, and I suppose if they are at home more, that probably helps them firm up whether they need to move or not, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like day to day, people are at work and school, and you're not there much.
Absolutely.
But Christmas, you're sat
and financially, obviously there will be a lot of people that bought relatively large houses on quite low mortgage rates, sort of over the last couple of years. And they might decide that actually, as they come up for a remortgage, it's not quite
very expensive.
It's going to be more expensive to live where they are, and people are quite people are generally a little bit more happy to adjust their home than they are their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I know I would if it was me. I would,
definitely.
That's what I would be doing.
I think as well, people prefer to be able to go on holiday, don't they? Now?
God, people don't want to sacrifice those luxuries.
Dinners
in life.
out and stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And Georgia, do you think January will be busy for you?
Hopefully. We'll see what comes.
Do you reckon you'll have more downsizes this year than you would have before?
I don't know. It all depends on what happens with the interest rates. I mean, they are levelling off. They are coming back down. There's more positive news in the industry now with regards to what the Bank of England base rate's doing. And back in end of November, beginning of November, it was projected to go to 6%. Now that's looking more like 4.5%.
Yeah.
So... yeah, I think there is a lot more positivity going into
and
2023.
With Help to Buy is obviously gone now, but there are so many new houses being built everywhere. Do you think there'll be something else in terms of mortgage schemes for new builds?
Yeah, I think there has to be.
There's so many being built.
There has to be. I think so.
I just don't know if they'll be able to sell them all if there isn't something to help.
It's either that or developers are going to have to drop the prices significantly in order for them to shift.
Yeah.
They can't put that premium on it anymore. With Help to Buy, it was easy because you were getting 20% from the government, so they kind of put that 20% premium on it, if you like.
Yeah.
Whereas, now there isn't anything. I think, we do. There needs to be something to almost incentivize people to buy those new builds. So yeah.
And what about buying, Char? If you're buying this year,
yeah.
what would you say to buyers? Like, because obviously we've touched on sellers, but
so
if you're not selling and you're just buying.
If you're just buying, obviously you're in a really nice position where you've got sort of flexibility in terms of your timescale a little bit more. Your first port of call is obviously going to be speaking to Southwest Mortgages and getting that advice and working out all those costs, because whereas a home mover has equity to cover those costs, as somebody buying fresh without any equity in a property already, you are going to have to front things like solicitors, stamp duty, and all those costs need to be saved and in an account saved and ready. But even if you're not quite there in terms of the saving yet, still go and speak to Southwest, because they'll be able to. It'll be nice to have that conversation and set yourself as a target. So you might find that Georgia
I
can
see
set you a
people.
little
I see people
timeline.
6 months to a year before they're even ready to buy. So.
Yeah.
There's no
I
right
think
or wrong time. Just come,
preparation
get
is
the
key,
info.
isn't it?
Being prepared is key.
Takes the stress. Obviously, it's stressful anyway, but that takes it away a little bit if you
Absolutely.
kind of know where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And particularly if you're, lucky enough to buy through Richard James, we take a lot of that pressure from you. We've got sales progressors that do basically all of the really hard work on your behalf. But we've got solicitors we can recommend. Obviously, we work really closely with Southwest, so we basically hold everybody's hand throughout the whole process, and that goes for sort of sellers as well, really.
And tips-wise for sellers, if they're selling.
So if you're
Getting the
thinking of
house
selling,
ready.
getting your house ready. So my top tip is making sure that everything's sort of not so much show home ready, but declutter where you can, and try to do really simple things like move shampoo bottles, put them away in the bathroom, and just tidying away those things that to us are just everyday used items, but in a photo, a great big bottle of Tresemme and a bottle of Colgate or whatever doesn't quite do it. So so just tidying away all those things that to you just are completely normal. But particularly for photos, because there are so many people that I speak to where they sort of say, what can I do to prepare for the photos? And sort of decluttering's the most important thing. But get a vase, get some fresh flowers, pop them on the dining table. Those little things, they all like make it look clean. That little bit
have
more
your
fresh.
Windows cleaned, like from the outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cut your grass.
Yeah, cutting the grass is a big one. Obviously, in the summer, more so than ever. Really nice, fresh cut lawn. And actually, a lot of people will focus a lot on the back garden and not so much the front garden. But obviously, curb appeal, and that front shot is the first photo that goes online. So anything you can do to sort of spruce up the front is
move your bins.
Move your recycling bins out the way. If get a new pot, put some shrubs in it or something to put by the front door. These are all little things that will just make your property look really nice on that first impression.
You did, G, when you let yours and it went on the market?
Just sort of decluttered,
really. Just put your stuff away.
Yeah,
I think it is literally putting stuff away. It's not as long as
minimal.
100%. And I go out to a lot of families. I've got a family myself, so I understand how hard it is to try and be clean at all times. But for the photos, do things like, if you've got a stash a load of toys away in your downstairs loo, do that for the photos, because that's not going to be photographed. Stash things away in your car. When it comes to the viewings, people appreciate that you don't live in don't always
live in a show home.
But if you can try and make that first impression on the online portals, as
really
best you
important.
can. I think it is important, and more important now than I think it was before. For some reason, I think people generally we will get more inquiries on a property if it's photographed nicely. Than we will if it's perhaps not. We offer professional photography, and that's really popular. It's been really popular this year.
It just really helps.
Really helps. I mean, it's a small amount of money to pay in the grand scheme
for
of,
a bit. For a good result.
For a good result, absolutely.
And when you bought yours, G, was it photographed nicely?
Yeah, it was exactly
was it clean and tidy?
Like the photos.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really
good. Yeah. Sometimes you go via a property and it's completely different to what the photos
look
online.
Way better than it was, or vice versa.
Again, it was like clean, it was like minimal, no clutter. You have to walk into a property and like want to imagine yourself living there. So I think the less clutter, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But you're right, stashing stuff in cars is a great idea.
Cars, garages, if you've got a garage. But I always say to people, like, if you haven't got anywhere, downstairs loo's the place to stack it up. No one goes in, no one even.
Just go upstairs, can't you?
Yeah.
Although if I did that, I'd be in there forever.
I've seen your downstairs loo, Jess.
Yeah, it's like that now. It's in really good shape at the moment. My sister used to, when my mum sold our house when we were still at home, she put everything in black bags in our car when we had viewings.
Yeah. Car's a popular one. Garage is
I just think
really
if floor space is clear, the sides are clear, there's no
100%.
I don't think people should leave shoes in hallways.
No.
Because you don't realise, like, when you're in your own house and it's your own shoes, you don't smell the same things that new people coming in smell.
Yeah, smell is such an important thing.
It is an important
and not
thing.
that, like, someone might have really gross feet, but shoes just smell, don't they?
Yeah, generally.
They just, like, if they're really worn, they just have a smell. I'm not saying it's, like, awful.
Get yourself a plug-in. For
or
the front
20.
door. Yeah, or a diffuser.
A candle.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's colder weather and you've got a fire, put that on for viewings as well, because that's a really, really nice, like,
cozy
vibe.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think, like, the point is you don't have to, like, spend loads of money to do it.
No,
this
you
is all
don't.
stuff that you can basically just
100%.
apart from maybe paying to have your windows cleaned, but someone could do that themselves if they
they could.
wanted to.
Another thing it's worth doing
cost-effective.
is if you have ever had a leak previously, and you've still got the patch in the ceiling where that leak is, definitely get that covered before you have your viewings, because it's just a talking point that isn't necessary. You don't want people getting
put off by
it when it's not relevant anymore, you know, and it's fixed and it's sorted. But as annoying as that might be to have to touch up that ceiling in that one room, it's worthwhile doing. Yeah,
especially if it's been fixed, because at the end of the day, that sort of thing is like part and parcel of owning a home.
It is.
Things
Absolutely.
happen, but you're right. It doesn't need to be a problem at first off.
No, absolutely. No, 100%.
So apart from, like, trying to stay as positive as possible and preparing yourself as best as you can, and obviously decluttering, washing windows, putting your bins away, all of that, anything else that you think anyone moving this year should know or avoid? Or
speak to a broker, declutter your house, speak to Rich James.
Don't get stressed.
Don't get stressed.
You'll be fine.
And also, I think a lot of people get stuck in this I haven't found, so I don't want to go in the market yet, situation. It's really common. And then they're constantly missing out on properties when they are coming up because they're not in a position to offer and unproceedable. The reality is there's no right and wrong.
Bit chicken and egg, isn't it?
It is a bit chicken and egg. But if you are really sort of concerned or you're looking in a bit of a niche sort of place in the market where houses don't go up hugely often, sometimes it's worth getting all your details, your photos and everything like that prepared in advance. So we do that a lot for our clients. We'll get things prepared, ready. And then when they have actually rung us and said, oh my God, this house has come up on the market in XYZ, and it's perfect for us. We're going to go and view it on Saturday. We really need to get ours on the market. We can do that. Click a button.
Yeah.
Literally click a button and you're online, and you haven't had to worry about last minute running around, cleaning, tidy. You've already done that and prepared all of that.
Yeah.
So that's a really nice way to do it, and that can sort of help.
And I guess on
that.
the other end of that, with it being kind of us trying to help it make it as stress-free as possible, you can then also arrange viewings for like the same day, not the same day as the photo that it goes live, but all viewings are on like a Saturday afternoon, so that they can avoid that whole people coming in and out like every single day or a couple of times a week.
So that's really popular with families that've got young, like kids, because it's really difficult to try and maintain a clean house when you've got children. So that's really popular, trying to do it Saturday afternoon or of an evening where they can just make sure the house is tidy and then just go out for the day. You know, go and do something fun with the family and just leave us to it, really. And we will do all the viewings and, you know, make sure that everything's all locked up and ready and sorted, ready for when you get home. That's a nice, like, sort of less stressful way of doing viewings. Obviously, depends how receptive people are to viewing. And obviously the price, the price point is quite key. And the photos are quite key if you want to sort of get as many viewings through the door as in one spot as possible.
Good. But I suppose mortgage-wise and agency-wise, there are ways that we can definitely make it easier for people.
I think a lot of
become
people,
less of a task.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people sort of make the decision, I want to move, and then they all of a sudden expect everything to happen in like a matter of weeks. Take the pressure off yourselves.
Long journey, isn't it?
Yeah, take the pressure off yourselves. Don't feel like everything has to happen all in a couple of weeks, you know. Have that mortgage appointment, have the valuation, take time to think about it, go and explore where you might want to live. You know? It's all a process at the end of the day. So yeah, I would say the more in advance and, you know, prepared you are, the better. Our valuers will be very honest when we come out. If we think that there's something you can do to improve the appeal of the property, then we'll tell you to do that, you know, and that gives you time to do that. So
and I guess that's the same for you, G. If there was something that you felt someone could do to enhance their chances of getting or securing the rate they wanted, you can advise them on that early on as well,
absolutely.
can't you? Good. Well, thanks very much, girls. You know who to come to if you need any help.